the new UK defense minister, Mr. Grant Shapps, the first day, he tells the Telegraph that he's going to send British soldiers to Ukraine. So British troops are no longer going to train Ukrainians on British soil. No, he's going to send the instructors, which of course includes British soldiers with thick accents from Belfast, teaching bomb-making classes, right? From their experience, as CNN called it, in places like Ireland, I imagine, yeah? So he's going to send them right to Russia's border, right? He's going to send them right to Ukraine so they can do the training over there. This was the headline in the Telegraph. They said, Shapps to send UK troops to Ukraine. Now, Dmitry Medvedev, who used to be, well, in Russia, he used to be the president, right? So now he's on the Security Council. And he saw the headline, okay? He saw the headline, and this is what he tweeted. He said the number of idiots in NATO in power is growing. One newly minted moron, the British Secretary of State for Defense, decided to move the UK military training of Ukrainian soldiers into Ukraine. That is to turn the British military instructors into our armed forces legal targets, while being fully aware that they will be ruthlessly eliminated, and this time not as mercenaries, but as British NATO specialists. And then he talks about the Bundestag, right? So he's right. I mean, if we look at international law, he's right. And by the way, this is one of the things that Russia has always been against and always been scared of, that you have NATO countries, you know, like Britain, sending British troops to another NATO country on Russia's border. This is what Russia asked for to stop this war, and NATO just said, no, screw you. So after Medvedev tweeted this, the Telegraph changed the title of the article, and they made it much, much calmer. As far as the original title goes, they said, so it went from Shapps to send UK soldiers to Ukraine, and it became Shapps to ramp up support for Volodymyr Zelensky. So now they said there are no plans to deploy British troops to Ukraine. Okay? They actually got scared by Medvedev's tweet. And I mean, I can't believe that they thought to like openly boast about this, or that Shapps thought to openly boast about this in the Telegraph like some moron. What did you think the Russians would say? What do you think the Russians will do? Medvedev should not have to threaten you on Twitter for you to know that this is horrifically and horrendously stupid. There's a reason that the Ukrainians are trained in Germany. The United States comes and trains them in Germany or in England and not inside Ukraine, because they would be blown to bits. And remember, at the start of the war, you had all these like keyboard warriors, you know, who thought that, oh, they're going to go become Rambo in Ukraine and kill Russians because CNN told them Russians are bad. And, you know, or rather the BBC in this case. And because they have British phone numbers and these idiots were on their phones, the Russians could see like all these numbers with you know, different so prefixes, you know, the number prefix of +44, and just blew them to bits. It's horrible. It's horrible. And you can only blame the media and the British government for allowing people to go and do this, because they even, you know, they even asked the Home Secretary, and the Home Secretary was like, yeah, I'm fine with this, that people go and fight in Ukraine. So this defense minister, he not only embarrassed the country, he embarrassed himself, and you know, he basically stained his own record like the first day on the job. And so they went and asked the Prime Minister Sunak about this, right? And he had to deny it. And they've been doing this all week, actually. I'll show you in a second what the Home Secretary's been doing. Like, his entire cabinet have basically been saying extraordinarily stupid crap. And then the media all go to the Prime Minister and say, oh, well, the Home Secretary said this. Oh, the Defense Minister said this. Do you agree with them? And then he has to go, every time he's like saying, no, I don't, because, you know, well, they're morons. Not that he's exactly the sharpest tool in the shed, but you get the idea. So Medvedev says another fool from the Bundestag, so the Reichstag, that's the German parliament. The chairwoman of German Defense Committee with an unpronounceable surname is clamoring to immediately provide the Ukro Banderovtsy with Taurus missiles to enable the Kiev regime to hit deep into Russia's territory to weaken the supply of our army. That is, it is in accordance with international law. Well, in that case, the strikes against the German plants which produce these missiles will also fully correspond to international law. Really, these half-wits are actively pushing us to World War III. Yeah. You know, Israel thinks that it can always bomb the Damascus International Airport or the Aleppo Airport or Latakia Seaport because Iran is sending weapons. So with that logic, you know, it should be perfectly fine for Russia to go and bomb the Kiev International Airport because 50 countries, well, not 50, but 50 countries are supporting Ukraine and 30 of them in NATO are definitely sending weapons. So with that logic, of course, Russia can also just go and bomb the plant directly in Germany, right? This is the dangerous logic that they have in the West. And just to give you an idea, like who becomes German defense minister, first of all, people who lose world wars twice. And then people like Ursula von der Leyen bitch, who is now the head of the EU. Yeah. You know, top-notch class of people, right? Just brilliant statesmen all around. In any case, whether you like it or not, Medvedev is right in both parts of his tweet. You know, it's really, really, really dangerous what they're doing. And my fear is that every time Russia, you know, sets a red line, which it shouldn't even have to do that, because if you had any clue about politics and diplomacy and military strategy, you understand certain dynamics. Like, oh, we shouldn't, you know, surround Russia with an adversarial military alliance, right? Because that's going to piss them off. They just lack any of this stuff. It's in the Cold War, which, you know, you would think, I used to think was worse, you know, in terms of the risk of nuclear war and so on, but they've managed to surpass it. At least back then, people had some inkling of, you know, what you can, what you cannot do. I know Reagan said like the Soviet Union is an evil empire, right? That's what he called it. But he didn't go and say, oh, well, the Russian president is a killer, which is what Biden called Putin, right? Like, you know, trading, well, not trading, because I don't think Putin even responded, but basically, you know, lobbing personal insults. Now, the problem is that it's not just about personal insults. The problem is that we're fighting a proxy war on Russia's border, and that this easily can turn into World War III at a moment's notice. A moment's notice. How weak, honestly. Who is this moron anyway? Who is this? You know, they just keep filling up positions, cabinet positions, with morons no one has ever heard of. This, you know, they want you to think like, oh, it's just African countries that are corrupt, or countries in the Middle East that are corrupt. No. Just look at in the UK how you have, you know, someone who's the health minister today, and then the next day they're suddenly the foreign secretary, and you know, then their friend is maybe the mayor, and then you know, becomes perhaps the secretary for defense. You know, they just trade jobs, like literally trade jobs. I think who was it again? Jeremy Hunt, who was health secretary and then he became foreign secretary. Are you a doctor? Are you a diplomat? How are you qualified for these positions? Oh, you're just, you know, you're just someone who went to Eton and has friends in powerful places. Wow. Well done, really. Bravo. So, you know, these nameless nobodies with no special skills, no experience, nothing to offer anyone, they are the ones that receive these jobs, become prime minister, become secretary of defense, just nobodies that no one has ever heard of, that don't give people in England or people in Britain anything except higher bills, more taxes. You know, let's drive up the price of gas. Let's kind of screw you over. Yeah, let's drive up the price of rent. Let's screw you over again. How do you like that? Oh, wait till we blow up that pipeline. Matt, these people are nuts. They're nuts. Just want to serve corporations and banks. That's all they do. You know, it's no wonder that the Prime Minister, Mr. Rishi Sunak, you know, is... Where does he come from? Worked at Goldman Sachs, no? As soon as I remembered, oh, yes, now I know why he's getting the nomination.